This is the scatfish, also known as the green scat or the Argus fish, and they primarily come to us from the brackish and marine waters of the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Now when you buy this fish in shops, they typically come in a smaller, more manageable size, but they do grow quite large, with some wild species measuring up to a foot long, and that's about 30 centimeters. This makes for a very difficult fish to keep, as you'll end up needing a couple hundred gallons when it comes to the aquarium. But for those who are prepared to provide sufficient housing for the scat, you'll find yourself with a fascinating fish to keep. For one, the scatfish has a unique shape and color display. Instead of a narrow body shape, they have a wide circular shape with distinct fins and a spotty pattern. And not only do they look great, they are peaceful fish and get along with other fish that are around the same size. The scatfish is a shoaling fish. This means that they should be kept in groups so that they'll feel safe. When it comes to setting up their tank, the scatfish will appreciate a large and deep aquarium with salt-tolerant vegetation for coverage, and most importantly, some wide open spaces for them to swim and shoal. You can achieve this by keeping plants or artificial plants along the sides and the back of the aquarium and leaving the middle open. And one quick thing to note is that the Java fern has been reported to be toxic and even pernicious to the scat, so definitely keep them away from the Java fern. When it comes to feeding the omnivorous scatfish, they'll accept pretty much all foods ranging from dry foods to live foods and plants. They're not picky eaters, but it is important to incorporate a primarily plant-based diet. Now, another reason why the scatfish would be better suited for a more experienced aquarist is that as adults, the scatfish primarily spends its time in salt water, whereas juveniles are typically found and need to keep towards the brackish waters. What this means to us in the hobby is that as juveniles, they'll be less picky with water parameters, but as they mature, their bodies will begin to need that salt water. And if you decide to keep the scatfish, you can do the following. First, keep them with well-filtered, alkaline, hard water. Add 1 teaspoon per imperial gallon, that's 1/5 gallon US, and 4.5 liters. Do this while keeping juveniles, and as they mature, begin to double the amount of salt that you add little by little. And continue to do this until you've reached full saline conditions, aka marine water. And there's a brief look at these scatfish. If you have any questions, comments, or inputs, definitely leave them down below, or you can connect with me personally on Instagram. And if you enjoyed this video, you can support the channel by liking and subscribing, as that really helps. My name is Gus, this is Myaquariuminfo, and thank you for watching.